Hello my friends, it's Ranger Russ from the Meigs Nature Center coming to you today from Willard Island. So before we get started, I want to let everybody know we have a very special program. This Saturday at 10 o'clock, we're going to be doing an atlatl program with a world-renowned expert in the atlatl. And he is a former world champion in the atlatl throw. So he will teach us all about atlatls. You'll get to see him throw some darts with an atlatl, and it should be very entertaining. That's Saturday, 10 o'clock on Facebook Live. So make sure you tune in at 10 o'clock this coming Friday. So, today we're doing a program on dogbane, or Indian hemp. And I'm going to flip the camera just for a second and show you the plant that we are using. It's this plant here with the yellow leaves. Looks very similar to milkweed, and it's in the same family as the milkweed. These are stems that have gone by. You really want it to be a little more decomposing than this. Now, this plant is growing off of a rhizome, which means there's a bulbous root under the ground that can spread, and that is what these stalks come out of. So each year you're going to get new stalks. Those old ones are just going to stay there. The flower blooms in summer. June to August, we get the blooms of dogbane. Now, it is poisonous. Some people actually have a blistering effect. It is in the milkweed family and it has a milky substance inside, and some people do get blisters from it. Also, the plant, if ingested, can cause cardiac arrest, so you definitely do not want to eat it. And in addition to that, it is called dog's bane because it does the same thing to dogs. And I guess in times past, dogs ate it and actually had heart attacks from eating dog's bane. So you don't want to leave this out around your dogs. It grows wild here on Willard Island. And I was really looking for some of last year's stalks, but we mow this area to control invasives, and I couldn't find any stalks from last year. So somewhere out here, there may have been some stalks, but there's a lot of goldenrod, some ragweed, lots of things growing around me, and I couldn't find any stalks of last year. So I'm using this year's stalks for this program. So what you're going to want to do, once you get your stem, notice the reddish color. This is one way that you can tell dog's bane from the other milkweeds that monarchs like to eat. Monarchs do not like to eat dog's bane. You're going to take a knife and just take off any leaves or stems that are on it. So we're going to do that right now. We'll just shorten it off right there. Oh, look at that. So this is why we're using this plant. Notice that string, that fibrous string that just came off there. Take the end off. We're going to make cordage or rope from these fibrous strings. Now, there is a woody pith in the center there. It's soft and not very good for making rope. So we're going to eliminate that. There's a few ways that you can do it. If you look online, you'll find videos of people that have done this. They all do it a little bit differently. I've always done it with fresh dogbane or Indian hemp. Never used the old stuff because I never really could find it. So today I really said, okay, this is the day I'm going to use last year's. So what I'm doing is I'm smashing the stalk all the way down. That allows me, there we go, and hopefully we can just separate those fibrous strands from the soft center of the plant, which we are not going to use. Those outside fibrous strands, that's what we're making. And if you go like that, you can see this is what we don't want. So we'll just toss that over there. And we're going to get as many of these strands as we can. So, there we go. This is a nice thick one right here. So there are a few strands left on that, but I think we have enough for our purposes here today. So the next thing we're going to do, you're going to do a very similar process if you have the last year's growth, except that this is still a little bit sticky from the sap inside. I do not get the blisters from this. I've handled it for years, never had any reaction to it. Some people actually, though, are allergic to milkweed as well. So you really have to be careful when you're trying out a new plant. It goes the same for eating wild edibles. You just never know who's going to be allergic and who is not. So I'm just doing a quick twist down the stalk here. Twisting these fibers together. Actually, when it's green, it's a little bit sticky and it makes it a little easier to blend this together. So there we go. We've got a quick strand. You can also, if you have an extra strand that you want to run into it, you can just set it on your rock or your leg or a branch, a log, whatever you're working on. And you can just roll it like so. It'll twist all of those fibers together nicely. And we are creating cordage. Now, dogsbane is actually strong enough. You could make a bow with this. Typically, they're going to use this for a bow drill or to lash things together. But I have seen people that use this to make an actual archery bow. So a hunting bow. All right, so we've got a little twist there. It's already pretty strong. Now, previously I did twist some others together. So you can take your 3 strands now. Now, normally I would like to tie this off to a branch or something, but I'm out here on a rock, so that's not going to happen. And you start out and you just do a simple braid. And I'm sure most of you braid better than I do, so this shouldn't be too much of a challenge for you. And my braids always start out pretty loose, and then as I get into it, it's better, so I would just be cutting off the loose end. So, I want to let everyone know we're going to continue doing these programs Tuesdays through Fridays at 11 o'clock. If you miss a program live, you can watch it on YouTube, the Meigs Point Nature Center YouTube channel. You can also go to the website, meigspointnaturecenter.org, and visit our virtual learning center, where you will see all of the videos that I've done, over 200 videos. And if you are a teacher, homeschool, or just a parent that would like to see a specific program, you can request a program. We can also set up and do a Zoom program. So, for whatever your group is. Now, this is not going to be a very tight rope. If you really wanted to make it tight, you could sit and retwist these a little bit tighter, each one as you go. And that'll tighten up your rope really well. It'll make it a lot stronger. Okay. Let's see if I can show you a difference in the strand here if I tighten it up. Now I'm also going to ask everyone to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers on YouTube so that we can start to do YouTube Live. Most of you that are watching, I'm sure, have been watching for a while and are already subscribing, which I appreciate. Watch out that you don't get what you're working in down below here too tangled up. I just got a little tangle there. So this is a fun thing to do when you're out camping. After you've set your camp for the day, you can sit by the fire after all your chores are done and just twist some cordage. And I got another little snag there. Like I said, kids are a lot better at braiding than I am. Everybody makes those lanyards at summer camp. I did as well, but I think that knowledge stayed in summer camp. All right, so there we have. I'm going to do a little knot on the end here so it doesn't come out on me. There is the beginning of our rope. Now they say a 3-strand that a normal man won't be able to break it like this. Wow, that's pretty tight already. So, you can see it's a little bit loose in the beginning, and then it does tighten up nicely when I take more time twisting. Can you show us the plant again? Absolutely, Judith. I will show you that in just 1 second. Let's switch the camera because I'm sitting actually right next to some dogbane. And it's this one here with the yellow leaves. Very similar to milkweed leaves. Red stems though. It's not as soft. It's a little more rigid than a milkweed. This is it after, this is, gone by later in the year. And actually the best time to use this will actually start to fray on its own. And then it's a little easier when this starts fraying here. It'll be a little easier to use and make cordage. So in November, it may be a little bit better. And I might come back out and see if I can make some more at that time. Let's take some time to look, see if we have any questions. I am braiding dogbane into cordage. Amy has got some homeschooler or schoolers. Carolyn says rope fibers could be quite handy when lost in the woods. Hunting for food, absolutely. You can make a snare or again a bow drill if you want to start a fire with a bow. Okay. Does dogbane get a pod like milkweed? No, it does not. Great question though. All right, let's put the camera back over here. So again, it blooms, it does get a flower. The flower actually does look similar to a milkweed flower, not as big though, it's much smaller. And that'll be June to August. And it does, can cause cardiac arrest, so you do want to be careful with it. Let's see if I can figure out where I left off here. And the rhizome, if we dug up the ground here, it would be a nice little root, not as big as like a carrot. And it is obviously not edible, not an edible root, but those rhizomes spread around through the ground. They get farther and farther apart, and then the plant can grow bigger and bigger. But it does seed, and those seeds can disperse, and that's what will really spread dogbane around. It grows pretty well. It grows nicely in dry, sandy, or rocky soils. It likes along river banks that are dry and sandy. And it is a great erosion control plant because it does grow pretty quickly, and those rhizomes do stay there all year. So the root will help hold a bank together. And one thing I would suggest, now I used a knife. It's hard to break this off. You can't just break it off. I used a knife to do that. You really need to practice knife safety if you're doing a project like this. So for the kids out there, you need to have an adult with you to wield the knife. And for the adults out there, as careful as you are, you can always be more careful. I've been using knives, around knives, my whole life. I'm sure my mother has stories about me cutting myself as a child occasionally, and I still do. So you really need to be careful to reduce the chance of that happening. So maybe we should do a whole safety class on using a knife. Cut away from you. There's the biggest rule right there. Cut away from you. All right. So this was a quick program. Dogbane is an awesome plant. I've been fascinated with it, and I didn't know a whole lot about it until I started working here at Hammonasset, and we started using it in the ethnobotany program. We would just walk by it and talk about it. And once they told me that you could make cordage out of it, and I was interested. I really wanted to start doing that more often. And at the first Hammonasset Festival, we had a Jim Dina, who wrote a book. He's a sort of a natural survivalist. He wrote a book called Voyage of the Ant, where he made his own dugout canoe and paddled up the Connecticut River to, I think he went all the way to Canada. And he used all the things that he found along the river. So he had some cordage, he had a bow that he had made, he fished along the way. Voyage of the Ant, if anybody wants to look that book up, by Jim Dina. And he sat there during the festival and made cordage, and then I got to see if I could break it. So I think it was really meant for the kids, but I participated, and it was a lot of fun. All right. So do we have any other questions? Let's see. I do have, here are some fibers of a plant that's gone past. And again, this is a better plant for making cordage because those fibers are dried out a little bit. So you can see those fibers there. They're very similar to the more fresh fibers. And because the fresh ones are moist, they stick together more easily. These are really dried out, so I would always suggest having a little bit of water to get it on your hands, to get it on the cordage. And it's easier to roll it that way, to spin it and spiral it into your cordage. Looks like my mom says, River and I don't remember you cutting yourself that much. Good to know, because I did cut myself last night. All right. So, oh, that reminds me. Coming up on the 30th, I believe, it's the day before Halloween, Friday. We're going to be doing Owloween. I'm going to be at a place called Hope doing Owloween. That will be from a place called Hope's Facebook page. Actually, I might run it on ours as well. So yeah, why not? We'll do it on Meigs Point Nature Center. If we don't, you can watch it on a place called Hope's Facebook page as well. So, but there you go. You just twist. So some people will take the cordage. This is a good thing to show you here. Do I have any other strands here? Here we go. So this is the way some people do it. I saw this method and I've never done it this way, and it seems much harder to me to do it that way. I like to pre-twist it, and then as you go, you twist it tighter, but it's easier that way. So typically you're going to do this. It works better with a 2-strand, so I'm just going to quickly do a 2-strand here. If it's not pre-twisted, and this one pretty much is, you twist and then, oh, I went the wrong way. Twist to the, let's say, twist away from you, come towards you. Twist away with the next strand, bring the strand towards you. Twist away. So you're actually crisscrossing your twist. You're twisting the individual strands one direction and the 2 strands together in an opposite direction. That makes your cordage stronger. But this is how you have to do it if it's not pre-twisted. And again, I'm only going to do this with a 2-strand. 2-strand is probably not going to be strong enough to make a bow out of. But a 3-strand or a 4-strand, you're going to get pretty strong. I wish I knew like how many pounds this could hold. It'd be pretty neat to find that out. I think a 4-strand, I'd probably be able to climb on a 4-strand. How long does it last? Very good question. It really depends on how well you make it. I've had it last a year, no longer than that, and I don't think it was because it just broke. I think it was because it got worn out, because I was using that strand for a program and it got a lot of handling, and I don't think it broke. I think it just unraveled. So that's the longest I've ever kept one. I'd be really curious to see what other people can do. My daughter is always getting herself hurt with her curiosity. Yeah, I'm sure my mom has stories about that one too. Curiosity is a very good thing. I enjoy curiosity, but you really have to add some caution with your curiosity. I did not like being hurt, so I was curious up to a certain point. I never got too close to the edge of a cliff or anything like that. That was something. Missed the beginning. Is that a root from a plant? These are the fibers, the exterior fibers of dogbane, which is a plant that grows here. I'm out here on Willard Island today. First of all, let's say that today is really warm. That big windstorm we had yesterday was supposed to bring a cold front in. It wasn't supposed to get more than 62 today. And I'm sitting here in the sun. Now the trees are blocking the wind, but I'd say we're up into the 70s right here where I'm sitting. It is absolutely beautiful and a little bit too warm for me right now. So, any other questions we have? I need to make a t-shirt that says curiosity balancing with caution. Curious but cautious, or something like that. That'd be a good t-shirt. I actually have come up with many t-shirts over the years and never made them into t-shirts, so should work on that. All right, so there's a quick 2-strand cordage that is not pre-twisted, but twisted as I go. 2-strand, you can see, is a lot faster to make. It's going to be thinner though, not as strong, but look at how strong that is. You cannot break it. How awesome is that? That took me what? Minute and a half just to make that little cordage right there. All right, so I hope everybody's enjoying this. This was a little bit different from the things we've done in the past. I think we'll keep doing it if people are interested. We make a bow drill or an actually archery bow or something like that down the road, but keep an eye out for all of the upcoming programs. Please continue to follow us and like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all Meigs Point Nature Center. Visit meigspointnaturecenter.org, the virtual learning center. If you're a teacher or homeschool and would like a class or a program done online, you can contact us through the website. And also, if you go to Ranger Russ on Instagram, I put up some quick things here and there when I find something, just a quick photo or something like that on Instagram. And it goes pretty quick. And Judith goes right to the hardest thing to make. She says, make a bowl. I don't know. I have never made a bowl. I think that would be really, really difficult. But, you know, let's look into it. Maybe I can make a bowl. All right, I want to thank everybody. I hope you're all enjoying these programs. Stay tuned. Tomorrow I'm going to be traveling. My goal, I'll tell you up front, where I want to go, weather permitting, I want to go to Putnam Memorial State Park. So hopefully you will see me. It's a little bit of a drive, so I've got to make sure I'm in nice and early tomorrow and head out for that program. But it's a place that I've heard about a lot and never visited. So really excited to visit Putnam Memorial tomorrow at 11 o'clock on Facebook Live. Until next time, this is Ranger Russ coming to you from Willard Island at Hammonasset Beach State Park.